Hi, Father Jack back at you again. I'm desperately trying to avoid correcting papers right now, so I thought I'd make a little video for you. Because I teach addiction studies at a couple of different universities, I'm always on the lookout for good educational films, things that, you know, go beyond what a good lecture or PowerPoint might do. And I do that for all sorts of drug abuse, including smoking. And I just found recently what seems to be a good anti-smoking film. And the reason it's good isn't it isn't just a dull lecture like the ones that we had in school. They went total Hollywood on this. They found a movie producer. They found a good writer, background music. They used actors from the Disney Channel. And above all, they told it not in a lecture but in a story form, which should go over much better for the kids. A wonderful idea, and looks like a really good quality film, except for one thing. And this one thing I think is a fatal flaw. I'm going to show you 22 seconds of this, and I'll have the links below for you to look at the entire trailer, but watch this little snippet from the film and you judge for yourself what you think about it. I certainly will have my analysis. It starts with, I should say, a couple kids on the beach. They're anxiously waiting for a phone call from their grandfather, who, of course, has been ravaged by the horrible nature of smoking. And while they're waiting, they see a surfer come up and light a cigarette, or try to light a cigarette. And, well, you see what happens next.
You shouldn't smoke, you know.
Everyone dies, kid.
Well, not everyone dies coughing at the end of an oxygen tube. The stuff that comes up is icky.
Hey! Hey!
Okay, so what's going on here? Is this some cute 12-year-old boy just acting like kids do and has this noble cause to help this guy quit smoking because he's coughing and hacking so much? Or is there something else going on here? I think there's something else going on here. I got a few problems here. Number one, if you want to help somebody quit smoking, you don't angrily confront them like these kids did. That's not the way to help smokers. Addiction 101. The second problem is what he did, from any understanding I have of it, that's assault. You can't just go up to strangers and do something like that. And then he stole something that didn't belong to him, that cigarette. Now, of course, the film, makes it look sweet and innocent, and he's doing it for a noble cause, but I think this is outrageous. First of all, I live not too far from where this was filmed. You don't go up to surfers and steal their cigarettes. You don't mess with these guys. I wouldn't mess with any smoker, but certainly not surfers. So that puts children in danger. Is that the message you want to send to children, that it's okay to go up to strangers and risk getting your butt kicked by somebody for doing something like that? I don't think so. So that's harmful to a child. That's child abuse, in my opinion, to do something like that. I'm a mandated reporter for child abuse, and I was taught that there's a thing called, I believe the legal term is corruption, meaning if you expose children to criminal activity or encourage them to commit it, that's child abuse. And I think that's what's going on in the film, even though it's couched in this sweet music and innocence and the poor grandpa and all that, which is fine. That's a good thing. It's really sending the wrong message, that if your cause is good enough or important enough, And if you're sincere enough, it's okay to do things like that. Well, I don't think it's okay. My job is to fight things like alcoholism. Would I ever tell a child or even an adult to go up to a stranger and grab a drink out of their hands and pour it down the drain? I don't think so. Not only is that wrong, it's also dangerous. You know, back in 1937, they made a film called Reefer Madness. And it was sponsored by the federal government, and they went Hollywood, and I think they made a similar mistake. Their cause for fighting marijuana was so important and so noble that they just made up all this stuff about how bad marijuana is. The film implies that if you smoke reefer or marijuana, you're going to turn into a rapist, a murderer, or you're going to commit suicide. Nonsense. And because it was so extreme in the lies it told about marijuana, the film became sort of a cult classic in the 1970s for marijuana smokers who would smoke marijuana and watch this film and get a good laugh out of it because it was so extreme. And so all the good intentions that were there originally to help people stay away from marijuana were totally washed away by the extremism and the nonsense of lying about drugs. You don't have to lie about drugs. Just telling the truth is good enough. And so Reefer Madness, the film, actually turned out to give the message that you can't trust anybody to tell you the truth about marijuana, so go ahead and use it. It's perfectly safe. Well, it's not. And Reefer Madness did far more harm than good, I think, in the end. I think this film, The Call, is another form of that. I'll call it Stogie madness, where you make up lies or tell people the wrong message, they're going to ignore it. People aren't that stupid that they can't figure out that that's wrong. Now, I'll bet those of you that are parents, do you want your kids to get the message that smoking is so bad that it justifies assaulting and stealing cigarettes from strangers? I don't think so. Now, if you disagree with me, feel free to make comments below. If you agree with me, I would suggest you follow the link, go to the page for this film, leave a comment to the producers and say, look, take out those 25 seconds that don't need to be there, those 25 seconds that send the wrong message. Either take that clip out and have a good film to show kids, or better yet, refilm it. Have the kids go up to that surfer and say, hey, nasty cough you got there. Man, have you seen a doctor about that? Gosh, have you tried talking to your doctor about ways to quit smoking? Have you tried some of the other tools out there? Or how about even, my Uncle Tony? He quit smoking after 30 years. You know how he did it? He did it with electronic cigarettes. Now, there's a vape store right down the street here. How about stopping in there and just trying it? That might be a better way to send the right message to children.